Well, good morning, everyone. It is definitely almost spring. It's 45 degrees out. Beautiful morning. I'm at Conimicut Point Park where the Conimicut Lighthouse is. Unfortunately, it's a really short walk from the parking lot to where I'll go to take the pictures this morning. It's due east where the lighthouse is to the sunrise, which is perfect. Spring is almost here, so the sun is rising basically exactly due east, and I actually have a few extra minutes, and so I'm just going to make sure all my gear is nice and clean before we head out, which is something I don't always have the opportunity to do. So one of the best things about living and photographing in Rhode Island is its density of lighthouses. There's so many that you can see around the state. And Conimicut is one that I had not been to. 3 years living here, never been here once. It's not that far from my house either. So I thought this was a great opportunity to come and see this lighthouse, which I'm so pleasantly surprised to see is really close to the shore. I thought it was going to be a lot further away, and I'll explain why I thought that might be a problem here in a moment. So with the sun rising pretty much directly behind where the lighthouse is, it's a really great opportunity for me to use my telephoto lens. All right, so things are starting to look really nice over by the lighthouse, and something I noticed when I was approaching is that there are all these birds flying by, and so typically in a situation like this, because of the nice color in the sky, I would use some sort of filter, like a 2-stop filter or a 4-stop filter on my lens, but I don't think I'm going to do that this time because I want a really fast shutter speed so I can catch these birds as they're going by, and I just think my image would be too dark if I tried to do a really fast shutter along with some sort of filter on there. So I'm going to try that out, and the other thing about this location is that I can test out the power of what has become one of my favorite lenses, the 100-400. This is by Sigma, and for the first couple of years I was doing landscape photography. I didn't use a telephoto lens, and I bought this about a year ago, and I love it. And I think it's probably, I'd have to look in my catalog, but I think it's probably the lens that I've used the most since I purchased it, not just because it's new, but because it's capable of reaching things and honing in on a scene, which is perfect for a situation like this morning where the lighthouse and the color in the sky are what I want to show. That's the story I want to tell, and maybe if I get some of these birds flying by, the geese are really making this a cool morning. So I'm going to try to get that, see how it ends up looking. So normally when I'm filming, I do a 2-second shutter release because I don't want my shot to be shaky, but because I want to get these birds as well, I'm going to have to probably just take the photos manually. It's tough too because you got to make sure that you have focus on both the lighthouse and the birds. Ooh, those went by fast. Huh. I don't think I got them. This is like a fun combination of, fun combination of landscape photography and wildlife. I have like almost no experience doing wildlife photography. The closest thing to wildlife photography I've done recently is that my daughter and I saw a hawk on a tree in our neighbor's yard the other day, and she asked me to get the camera and we took a photo of it together. But other than that, I pretty much never take pictures of animals. But this is cool because it obviously helps tell a story. Tells certainly more of a story than it would be if it was just the lighthouse and the sunrise, which is just looking so good. I was getting a little concerned that things weren't going to pan out this morning conditions-wise, but clouds ended up being exactly where they needed to, just behind the sunlight, the lighthouse. So yeah, really cool. Nice little challenge too. It's, you know, I could have just sat here and had my my shutter release on for 2 to 10 seconds and just kind of waited and seen things out. But this is nice too. There's another bird coming. Zoom in on it too. Ooh, quick one. So yeah, the 100 to 400, I just think it's such a great tool to have in your camera kit. In part because we can only go so far, and one thing that I really have come to love about landscape photography is compressing scenes, because it's so tempting to want to take a big wide vista and get everything in it. And sometimes, you know, that works, and with a wide angle lens you can certainly accomplish that well. But what I love about this lens is being able to just hone in on little details. That's always kind of the term that I use, is these little details, because those are important things in a story too. And we, as observers, are always noticing little details. Our eyes are catching, you know, the house in the distance, those set of trees that have interesting features to them. We're always noticing those with our eyes. So to be able to capture that with camera is a great thing to do as well. And so I only have 3 lenses that I use for landscape photography, and I think this and my wide angle are probably my 2 go-to when I'm really excited about getting a certain kind of shot. And then I have a 28 to 200 that is from Tamron. It's an excellent lens. Hold on, big bunch of birds coming. Oh, here's a good group. All right, come on. Oh, that last shot I think is cool. It's not the whole group, but just the last 2 making their way out. Let's see. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, right on top of the lighthouse. Nice. And I'm just gonna get one last shot horizontally, where you can see the sun coming up, because it looks beautiful. Wow, I'm just so pleased with this morning. Beautiful. You know, I spent not a lot of time, but I spent a little bit of time this morning wondering if I was making the right choice coming here. I had other locations in mind that I knew I had more intimate knowledge of, but this was great. I mean, what a view. If you are new to landscape photography, I can't recommend a telephoto lens enough. It is a great tool to have. I am not a big believer of having too many lenses, too many pieces of equipment if you especially are new or photographing on a budget. So that would be one that I would recommend, because if you have one, you can get beautiful photos like I did this morning, and if you don't have one, you can't. So that's why I think the telephoto lens is a great tool. Thanks as always for watching these videos, and the next time I'm out on a beautiful morning, hopefully much like this, and hopefully warmer, spring is almost here, I'll see you then. Look at all those birds. They must be coming back now that it's warm again. Welcome home.